This drawing is called Surface 37. It was made during the COVID shutdown in New York City last spring. It came out of a process of figuring out ways to make new work in my apartment since I couldn't get to my studio on a regular basis. And while my practice does involve making both sculpture and collage, usually the collages I had been doing were cut and layered metal, and I couldn't really work that way at my house, so I decided to have all of those images that would usually be printed on metal just printed on paper, so that I would have a way of working at home with access to some type of material. Because at first I was pretty paralyzed coming to terms with pandemic life and not really sure how to even make art. I was mentally exhausted and things were just really weird and scary. And so having lots of paper and just materials around gave me this opportunity to pretty much just play and experiment without any types of pressure or timeline. And so at first I gave myself this exercise of just cutting out paper and making an image, like an exercise of making a drawing a day. And so I would create something and then put it away. Maybe I would take a photograph of it just for reference and then start over again the next day. So I could spend 5 minutes, I could spend 2 hours, whatever I had time or energy to do. And so out of that exercise started to come actual finished pieces. And then a lot of the new works that emerged were using color and space in a way that the previous metal collages were not. And so that was pretty exciting for me, just seeing this new tangent evolving in the work. And so as these pieces started to feel more finished, I changed the rules a little bit, and then I began to keep the finished works and glue them down to become an actual collage. And so I have about 20 plus, from that time, and I'm still continuing with them. So there's still more that I'm creating whenever I can. And so during those months, I was thinking a lot about bodies and space and how we were all so tightly packed together, specifically in my household. I would look out my window and I'd see a lot of glowing orange sunsets against red brick buildings. And so I felt like these things were all kind of coming through subliminally in the collage works. There was a lot of tension going on in the layering and creating these moments of space, very back to back. And there's also references to the figure. And as with my sculpture, I use this repeated image of gradients that can read as an eye or a void, some type of vibration that can interrupt the surface. And a lot of this work came from this very primal, intuitive space. I think I was inadvertently referencing a lot of the spiritualists and abstract painters like O'Keeffe and Remington and Off-Clint. And I'm really happy with where the new direction of the work is going. There's a few other collages and sculptures in the exhibition that were also made during this time, so you'll see some of those similarities and threads throughout those pieces.